Before moving on to our main topic, which is going to actually do with multilingual apps, I just wanted to do a quick PSA to kind of give more insight into how we work and how we think. And I'm going to do that using a tool called Miro. I think Miro is great. If you guys have watched my videos before, you can tell there's usually Post-it notes behind me. I much prefer Post-it notes during development than any other way. One of the benefits of a Post-it note is when the glue dries out, the Post-it note will fall off the wall, and that's just a quick way to let you know that whatever was on the wall is not that important to do. It also, when you have a bad idea, it's really easy to change and pivot. You just have to crumple it up and throw it out. Or if you have a new idea, you just write it on a Post-it note and stick it up. So Miro is kind of the digital version of that Post-it note. So why am I telling you this? So with the multi-language component that we're going to be releasing today, the way that we think about doing the development is we first think, what do we want this to actually do? So we're going to just make some sticky notes here. We're going to say, okay, the first thing we want it to do is automatically translate the text in an app. So, that's one of the ideas that we could have. And then we just continue on. We say, okay, what next? Support right to left layouts. So this way, if a user is using a left to right language, such as English, we can put the buttons in left justify, left align, and move everything to the left. But if somebody's using right to left language, let's say Hebrew or maybe Arabic, we want to actually reverse everything. So a button on the left will now be a button on the right. A text box with input, they'd kind of switch around. So we'd like to support left to right. We'd actually, on native applications, save the translations in the app. So when you release a native app on your store, if you go and you start playing around with the translations, if you save it in the database and you delete a translation and somebody's on version 1 of your software, it might break their software until they upgrade to version 2. So usually with translations, you want to store it in the native application. We want to detect the user's preferred language from the phone or browser. So this is called localization. So we want to do some localization work to say if the person's phone is in French or in Russian, we should just default their language to French or Russian. Add a couple more up here. Update the app when a user changes languages. Say automatically. I'm having spelling troubles. So here, we'll just stop there so we can make this quicker. So we have a couple of different ideas. And it would be nice, and if we look at this, this might be a month or two's worth of work. So if somebody really just needs this, we have two ways to do this. We either do all 5 of these and release it one component 2 months from now, or we build it incrementally and we say, okay, let's tackle this first. We'll leave right to left out. We'll leave, saving the translations to the app, because this here might actually satisfy 20% of the users. All 5 of these might be needed by, maybe 5% of the users. So if we do this in a week and release it, and then we do this, and then this, and then this, and then this, it'll take the same amount of time. It'll take the same 2 months to actually do it, but people can start benefiting from the components right away because we're breaking up the way that we're delivering it. So this is just a nice way. And then you get the early adopters and get the feedback. So once we do this, it actually turns out that this is the next most important thing for the next 10 or 20% of the users. So we can change the priorities as we start releasing stuff and getting the feedback from the community. So the reason why I'm just mentioning this is because you might want this here, and we've only released this here. It doesn't mean that we don't have a roadmap to get to here. We just want to help as many people as quickly as possible during this entire journey. So we don't wait months and months to release one big, massive, does everything component. We release it incrementally so that the people who do need to use it or can use it, just this minimum stuff, will start being able to use it right away. So with that said, we're going to be doing multi-language. I'm going to try doing something different this time. Most of the time I just demo the component, but I'm actually going to go through a walkthrough of a full end-to-end building an app. And this is hopefully going to be part of a mini series that I want to put together. And the mini series would be, starting from inception to delivery. I think, a lot of the no coders out there who don't have a background in development, come up with an idea, find a tool like Adalo, start putting their app together, and then it kind of fizzles out and dies. And this is actually very common because, development is more than just putting a button on a page. It's about the entire life cycle of the project and getting it to the market, getting feedback. Actually, I just want to put one more note out there going back to Mira. So by doing it this way, another thing that happens that's really nice is we might do this, we might do this, release our version 3, and then we move on to something else. So rather than doing these two right away, this might hit 75% of the market, and then we can move on to a different component that makes people's lives better and come back to this at a much later date. So when we decide to stop with just these 3, we've already delivered value to everyone. We didn't deliver as much value as we want to as many people as we want, but we've already delivered value. So it's not like this is just code sitting on our shelves. This is actually helping people in the real world. With that, let's get started.